talking.
Yeah, honey, I know. I know. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you coming on. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, honey. Yeah, I'm in the studio. I'm about to go. Damn, yeah, it was only 1 or 2 pictures, and it was just 'cause. 10, yeah. It was 10. You counted them. Huh. Well, I liked them all because she had a fat ass. I gotta go. Love you, bye. Taking no shorts. Coming right up.
We talking about practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game. We talking about practice.
Now I gotta talk, we all gotta be quiet. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, woo, wheeling dealing, limousine riding.
I'm a man, I'm 40.
And now your host, Taking No Shorts podcast, Jay Grizzy.
Ooh, that was a smooth. That was almost one of the smooth transitions. Other than my internet looked like it's acting up, but I don't like that. Hold on. No, I got all the bars. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Taking No Shorts podcast. I'm your host, Jay Grizzy Green.
Booker, man.
AKA Mr. Leave No Meat on the Bone.
Exactly.
AKA the Great Grizzy.
Exactly.
AKA the Great Grizzolino.
Exactly.
And last but not least, Wanda's son and Jenny's grandson.
Exactly.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe anywhere where you find your favorite podcast. Also, every Friday around 8:45 CPT time, you did. You can find Taking No Shorts on the following streaming channels. That's YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Have a great guest today. We used to make money together.
Exactly.
He is definitely an entrepreneur and businessman galore.
Exactly.
And last but not least, I'm pretty sure he will put this at the top of his list. He's a great father and a great husband.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the homie, Mr. Ed Rice. Rice. Like Don Cornelius. What's up, brother? What's good, bro? Not much, man. It's been a long time coming, putting this thing together. You said, I saw you on the live stream one time. It's like, oh, yeah, fucking with it, you know, you did. And then you said you was going to come through, and you kept you a man of your word.
Definitely.
You coming through, man. You go ahead and put them goddamn headphones on. It ain't going to work. First of all, I thought I was going to be the flyest person on Taking No Shorts since its inception, because usually cats come through and they just be, how should I dress? I be like, whatever fits your personality. This cat.
I'm grown, man.
Yes, sir. He done graduated, ladies and gentlemen.
Grown.
Graduated, man. Thank you for so much for coming through and taking your time with Taking No Shorts podcast. Let's go ahead and get into it. And first of all, how we know each other. Let the audience know how we came to be kicking it.
We know each other from working at the bank. Working at Bank of America together.
Damn, he put the whole thing on there. Now you know he get money outside of work.
He's working at the bank.
Yeah, we worked at the bank. How long were you there for?
I was there for 12 years.
12? God.
I left in 2019.
I remember when I think we was on the same team with, shout out to Corey. Corey represented Brooklyn.
Yeah. BK in the house.
Corey put me on to the suit game. I was like, Corey, where you get your clothes from? He said, better men's wear. So I went up there.
Same here.
Yeah, I went up there about, I think I ain't going to even say nothing, but.
I'm 40.
Yeah, I was that in some. And I said, yeah, it's time for me to get more than one suit. A church, well, I had one suit I did for church and funeral.
Gotcha.
So once I got the bug, I just kept going until my wife thought I was cheating on her or some shit, right? So how'd you get into the suit game?
I got into the suit game when I was working at a brokerage firm back in New York.
Okay.
I was working as a janitor.
And wait a minute.
Yeah, I was working as a janitor, more so the maintenance guy, but it was more like a handyman position.
Yeah, he was a super.
Pretty much. I was just fixing things, hanging pictures, you know. just being in people's way.
Yeah.
But outside of that, then what happened is a position came about. I had braids, and one of the attorneys, she was an African American lady. She was like, "Hey, cut your braids."
Right.
So I kind of found it offensive, but I was like,
"Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you how you took it."
You have dread. She said, "Well, understand this. I'm an attorney. They can't tell me anything."
But she kept it a being with you like that.
She pulled me to the side. She said, "Cut your braids." So I cut my braids. I came in that morning, and then the other human resources lady was another African American lady, and she was like, "I got a position. I'm gonna give it to you, but I got an interview, so don't be alarmed. But I'm gonna give it to you because I see you in school for business, so I'm gonna give you this position."
How old were you when this happened? You say 19? How old were you?
I was there from the time of being 17. I didn't leave there until I was 26 when I moved to Virginia.
Somebody took a looking out like that? Yeah. Like, wow. Shout out to your name.
Her name was Abby.
Abby, what happened there?
Hold on. Abby.
Exactly.
Thank you, Abby. You put Ed plugged him into the matrix. Yeah. And he was off to the races ever since. All right, so you get the VA from being in the city. What part of the city you're from? City meaning New York City, tri-state, the boroughs, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm from South Bronx.
South Bronx, South Bronx. And for some reason I said you was from, because that's as far into the Bronx that I got on them green label trains, was the Grand Concourse exit, Yankee Stadium, that was it for me. I got off of that, got robbed, took my ass back to Brooklyn. So, Mott Haven, how was it growing up in Mott Haven?
Rough.
Yeah.
Rough. Oh, man, it's rough in South Bronx. It's real rough. I went through a lot of challenges. You know, being a humble person doesn't come easy around people, especially when you're around aggressive people. Yeah. Especially being in the city. In the city, like I said, we walk out the door with the expectation something's going to go wrong. So we just have that chip on our shoulder. We think everybody's trying to hustle you. So that's kind of how it was in the South Bronx. You just, even the nicest person,
but still you
don't want to mess with them. They can be crazy and they just be humble.
when I because I was originally from Virginia, but I moved to New York City in the early 90s, right?
Okay.
Early 90s to the late 90s. So all through that, from 92 to like 99, it was nigga ski mask. I mean, I'm sure it was worse than that.
No, you see a whole lot of stuff, especially, like, I was born and raised in the projects. So that's in my Haven project. So that's my stomping ground. That's where my history is.
Yeah, for folks who don't know, down south, our projects is kind of spread out. Their projects go.
We got 20 stories high, 8 buildings in that project.
And the elevators probably didn't work.
Yeah, we got other projects in there, across the street, down the street, up the road. It's just a whole bunch of projects in the area, but they all high buildings.
And you get into the staircase, you go up and you turn, you don't know what's fitting to be around the corner.
No, you don't. You don't know. It's
you can see
somebody sleeping in the staircase, or it's pissing in the staircase. Listen, I don't see a lot of stuff in them staircases.
In those staircases. Me too. I was like, how y'all live like this, right? Can't y'all escape this shit? Nah, nigga,
that's just what it is.
That's what it was every day.
Rapped about, because it's like a common occurrence in all projects.
And what do you think, being raised in projects that coming out of Mott Haven, what did that instill in you now that you as a grown man?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
I use it as a stepping stool, because I tell myself, like, I still eat stuff off the floor. I'm just that type of person.
You blow on it first?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I know you just straight pick it up.
Be like, 5 seconds of God.
5 seconds rule.
Because I keep myself trained to say, you can still go back to that life. All of this can fall, you can still go back to that life. So you're already accustomed to dealing with that in case you ever had to go back to that. My children don't have to go back to it. I'm going to just try to put myself, and my wife tries to put herself in a position where we don't have to let them see what we saw. So we raised them in the suburbs in Virginia and Chesterfield. Yeah. But outside of that, I tell myself, you got to get up and go get it every day. Because if you don't, you know what you're going back to.
It could just as much as just as good as you got it, just as hard as you worked for it.
Gotta snatch it right away.
Gotta take it right off you. I took my oldest son one time. His mom called me. She was living in North Carolina. I think it was in like the 6th grade or whatever. I was in New York, and she was like, yo, he wilding down here. 6th grade, you kind of your balls drop a little bit.
I feel you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
So I was like, what the fuck you want me to do? I'm in Brooklyn. Like, she was just like, yo, you need to come down here. And so I got him that summer and brought him back to Brooklyn, and he was just like, where we going? I was just like, I'm going to take you where I get my hair cut at East New York, right? And he was just, then we went to the Salvation Army of uptown in Harlem. I just wanted him to see, like, even though Dad was from Virginia and we didn't come from these beginnings, it's people out here that's easily can you can be in those type of situations, and you keep. I mean, of course, 12, 13 years old go through one end, one out the other, but
until they
get into those situations, and he would tell me. He would say, "I'm glad that you showed me, and I ain't got to go back there. Like, I was never a hard-headed kid. Were you a hard-headed kid?"
I wasn't a hard-headed kid. I was just a stubborn kid.
But I was. You won't listen to nobody.
Nah, think about it.
Of course you would say that.
I was listening. Here's the thing. Here's the crazy part. My mom will tell you too, and my step-pops will tell you. I got straight A's from 1st through 12th, always on the honor roll.
Exactly.
Always on the honor roll.
Right.
National Honor Society, all of that.
Right.
A-class student. It just a lot of things happened to me in my life. And so tragically, I fought a lot. So my step-pops, when he came into my life, it was about 12-ish, going on 13. He was like, yo, you always fighting. Like, why you always fighting?
What was one of the things that caused you to go there with the aggressiveness? Was it just on the block? What was the triggering thing you could share with the audience? One of the triggering things.
I say before I got to being a teenager, I was sheltered. And our dads weren't in the picture.
Yeah.
So like I said, my stepdad came in the house about 12, 13-ish. And I had never lived with any other man in my life. So I was the man of the house.
So you was flexing on.
But the thing about it is, I'm the oldest of 6.
Oh, wow.
So I had to help raise all my siblings. So what my thing is just like, yeah, you're probably right. I probably felt a little extra. Because even all my siblings would be like, yo, you like our second dad. And they've told me that individually in private moments. But, it's just a heartfelt moment to just know that they appreciate me. But outside of that, the fighting came from my dad not being around.
Yeah.
And then when my stepdad came around, up until I warmed up to him, I didn't like him.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, I ain't like you because you ain't my dad.
Right.
And that was it. So my mom gave me that heartfelt speech about it is what it is. He ain't coming.
He ain't coming back.
Stop looking out the window. I got it.
Yeah.
Let's move.
Let's keep it moving.
When she said that, at that moment, I just
let it. Well, you didn't let it go, but you understood.
I didn't let it go, but I resented him for years.
Man, I found out. I want to say in my mid-20s. About I want to say it was. I came back home. It was New Year's Eve '99, so late 20s, 27. I never forget because. Of course, New Year's,
Yeah, the New Year's is different.
I come home. I'm in Virginia. I do New Year's in Virginia, right?
Okay.
And the party is close to my old hood, so I was like, I'm not going to take a chance and hit the road or nothing like that. So I go crash at my mom's crib, and I don't know what it was. One of my uncles was like. And this was one of the cool uncles, the uncle who always gave you your first sip or your first hit of the J, right? One day we was chilling, he was just like, "That ain't that nigga, son."
You know what's crazy though?
I said, what?
You know what's crazy? It came out of my mouth probably a couple times, and I know it hurt my step pops emotionally.
Yeah.
He was there helping to provide. He was there helping to provide. But it's the same thing we just say about our kids prior to us recording about they don't understand until you get in that situation.
Yeah, man.
And that situation happened to me because I got 2 bonus kids.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? We have a blended family.
Wow.
So when I got told that, it hurt.
Yeah.
When I say it hurts like cut deep.
Cut
It cut deep because in my head it's like,
how you gonna do that to me, nigga?
I'm raising y'all. But it was a fine line I couldn't cross. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter what you do or what you say.
Yeah.
The kid's still gonna let their parents, regardless of what situation they're in. And that's the thing I had to learn.
Yeah, man.
And I got into a back and forth argument with my uncle, who was my father's brother. And he would try to help out, whenever he could. But one day I had my father come over to my house, and he was just like, when I moved to Virginia, he was like, yo, you still like around him? Like, stay away from him. I'm like, yo, it's still my dad.
Yeah.
He didn't understand that part because he didn't have no kids.
Oh.
So he always be like, you know, if I had a kid, I would want them to be just like you.
No, you don't want to like, if I had a, because me and your circumstances are a little similar. Like, you wouldn't want to cut all ties. I mean, I always tell people, I'm with you till I'm not.
Right.
Like, you gotta, and I mean, I'll give a lot of folks a lot of grace, but
right.
I'm with you until you're not. And that's like when folks, I'll just use misinformation or doing business. When somebody says, I'm good money. Well, you good money until you not good money. You know what I'm saying? Until you not good money, I'm not fucking with you no more.
I got you.
You know, so that's how I used to look at it. But no, my uncle was like, yo, do you know that ain't that man's son? And I was like, fuck you mean? So I asked Mom, I said, Mom, what the fuck he talking about? You know, and I was loose. I was out of pocket like a motherfucker. I was drunk as shit. And she was just like, you don't want to know. I said, oh, yeah, I do.
Because the cat out the bag now.
Yeah, cat out the bag. And your brother said it. So
right.
She was like, well, that dude wasn't a good dude. You know, he was in and out of the system. You know, I didn't want to take that chance. If y'all got tight, fuck knows where you might be.
I got it.
Fuck knows how you might have landed. And I was like, I can respect that. Fast forward years later, he had passed, and I had ran into through the ancestry joint. I ran into a cousin of ours. Oh, we all look alike. I never met the man. I think I met the man when I was like 4 or 5 years old. I don't remember. I mean, I remember a little bit, but me and him, the dude that my cousin, shout out to him.
Exactly.
He living down in Clearwater, Florida. He got through 2 hurricanes, man. He in his 60s, man. He doing real good. He run a jiu-jitsu school out there. So shout out to you, Walter Evans, down in Clearwater, Florida. But look alike, and he was like, yo, man, I'm doing the same thing you did. It just so happened we met, and then he, strangely enough, he was my biological is from Harlem. Mm-hmm. So he was from Harlem. Crazy situation. Came down south, set up shop or whatever, and he was looking for his dad. And so we second cousins, so we got the same grandfather.
Okay.
But neither one of us met our biological father. So I said, I know your dad because I got him in my records. And he was like, you got a picture? I showed him a picture. He was like, yo, man, that's crazy. Like, I've never seen a picture of my dad before. And he looked just like all of us. Like, we all bald, deep set eyes, high cheekbones. So I'm sorry, get back off from the topic because we get into a little bit of biography of Mr. Ed Rice, entrepreneur, husband, and father.
Exactly.
All right, so you get the VA. How old?
I got the VA when I was 26.
And what got you the VA? How did you get that from my Haven?
All right. At the time I was with my girl, who's now my wife. We've been together 20 years now. Married 16.
Round of applause for that.
Salute to my wife, Ray Rice. But at the time, 2 of my children were living with their mom, and she was in Newport News. She was in the Navy.
Okay.
And pretty much something happened to where it's like we were looking for houses because when my wife and I got together, I was still in the nest. Mm-hmm. She was still in the nest. Mm-hmm. And we like, yo, we need a house. And when we calculating our kids, it's like, all right, you got 2, I got 3.
Here's a story.
Yeah, exactly.
About a lad named Brady.
So when we start figuring out, we looked for everything from Jersey all the way to DC.
What?
We couldn't find anything.
That's
now,
crazy.
this is back in 06 when the market was, everything was fine. So we come down here to see my boys, and one of her girlfriends she grew up with in Queens said, "Hey, come out to Chesterfield. Don't stay in Richmond. Come to Chesterfield, and I'm gonna show y'all around the town." So she showed us around the town, and we just started looking at houses and apartments and stuff like that. And then what happened is one day me and my wife, we both worked at the same brokerage firm.
Okay,
that's how I met her.
In Manhattan?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Funny thing is,
that's crazy.
The crazy part is, it's a crazy story how I got to that building.
Hold on, wait. Is your wife from Brooklyn too?
My wife was born in Brooklyn but raised in Queens.
Okay.
Yeah, she was born in Brooklyn but raised in Queens. But the story with how I got to meeting her was I was top 5 in my class for high school. So they gave us internships at any law firm, brokerage firm, anything that was big in the city. Cool. So I was at this brokerage firm. Now I get there, it's 30 of us. And I mean, a lot of the other kids were from, preferential good schools. Now I went to school in Harlem. I went to Rice High School, which is a Christian school. The majority is all Latino and African American kids. But we were in a bad area. You know what I'm saying?
So Rice
was a good.
That's a top-notch school, though.
We was a good school. Grades was on point. Yeah. Just we was in a bad area.
Yeah.
So when I got there, they put everybody else on a trading floor. 29 people was on the trading floor.
Okay.
They put me in the maintenance department.
Oh, that's dirtball. That's dirtball.
So when I went to check in, I was like, yo, I'm with the security, who I go see this person. They was like, all right, go through that door. It's a door, a double door, French door. Knock on that. I was like, oh, nah, I'm here for internships. The dude was like, what's your name? I'm like, Ed Rice. He was like, nah, you posted here. He had a shirt with my name on it, like Ralph Cramden.
Damn.
My name was on it. I'm like,
straight to the moon, Alice.
In my head, I'm like,
damn. I'll try to play it.
But what's crazy, though? This is how I met my wife. I saw my wife. She very attractive. So
I would hope so, Ed.
What happened was,
Jesus, come on, man.
I had to go fix her. Remember, I said I was fixing stuff. So I had to go fix her supervisor's keyboard tray. So what happened is, I would never put all of the screws in the keyboard tray. So she would have to keep calling for me to come back. So after the 3rd time she called back, she took my number. Man, I bolted that joint to the desk, and after that,
it was a wrap. Was a wrap. Early 2000s, I'm going to tell you, VA, especially anything south of D.C., was getting flooded with cats from Jersey and New York. Like, because the land was cheap. You could get a nice house. You could get...
But you still can based on what New York is going for. Like, even in the projects. It's like they got houses right across the street from the projects, and they trying to sell that for $1 million.
Yeah.
And I'm like, $1 million in this area?
And look, I was the brownstone. I live in Sunset Park. There's a brownstone in Sunset Park, Brooklyn. Back in the 90s, that joint was going for like 300. I was like, if I could get it for 300 to back then, that joint is worth like 2.5. $3 million.
Because now it's all gentrified.
I went to Sunset Park. Ain't no more Hispanics. Ain't no more age. Sunset Park, if you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, is, first of all, is just before you get to I was about to say Guidoville. Hold on. I'm going to have to take that one out, goddamn it. But just before you get to Bay Ridge, it's like fucking Sunset Park, which is Puerto Rican, Asian. Ain't no black people. I think we was the only black folks on the block, right? Okay. And it was white. It was like working class white folk.
Gotcha.
But mainly Hispanics and Asians. So I fit in because I was like, I'm from down south. I don't know the ways of the road. But my landlord was like, yo, if you We had good jobs, but back in the '90s, you still couldn't afford $300,000. At 27, I could not afford a $300,000 townhome. You know, for real. I wasn't touching bread like that shit. I was just happy to get my Blockbuster car, go to Fort Hamilton and get me a video, some shit like that. But yeah, the real estate game is mad crazy. So I think one of the businesses you're in is you're in the real estate game now, right? Well, I said game, but you're in the real estate market. You're a real estate agent, right? And tell me how you got into that.
My wife and I are actually investors. We're
real estate investors. How'd you get into that? As far as like what piqued your interest in that game? Because that's a
my thing is I'm like I said, I was always into education. So with the education, I start researching, and when I start researching people that are successful, people that are successful.
Yeah.
So I start, the Bill Gates and Warren Buffett's and the Jay-Z's, and I look at primarily what their main portfolio is.
Where they putting their money, their assets.
90% of the majority of millionaires and billionaires is into real estate. That's what one thing you got to understand. It don't matter what you do.
It rarely depreciates.
It don't matter what you do. Somebody has to have somewhere to live.
Amen.
And Warren Buffett said, whenever whenever things are doomy and gloomy, there's an opportunity. So even when the market crashed and all of this stuff, people are buying houses at a low rate. So now you can rent them later. That's what I'm saying. So funny thing is, we done did a whole bunch of courses. My wife and I went to school, Ashworth College, got my property management certificate from there. And I did that online through COVID. That was recent.
That's easy money, right?
Yeah, so I did that online through COVID. And I was like, I just paid it out flat cash. And did the classes and bumped into another person that was already doing Airbnbs from Bank of America, work management, Jasmine Johnson.
Okay. And shout out to Jasmine.
So what happened is my wife said, Ed, I want to be in the room with her. And I said, okay, well, let's be in the room with her. So we tried to go to one of her courses, but we weren't available. We had an event that day. So she was like, hey, I'm doing an event at this little cafe. So Jazz said, well, I'll tell you what.
Jazz had an office, by the way, same place where Taking No Short's first office was.
So my wife and I just said, well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take you to brunch. So we took it downtown in Richmond. We took it to brunch. We sat. And then in that meeting, my wife explained what we're doing, what we at financially.
What you're looking to do.
And she was basically like, hey, listen, I got this developer who got some properties and I got extra units. I'm going to plug y'all in and we see what it do. And basically what she did was for a year, she held our hands. She was like, I'm going to hold y'all hand for a year. And that was the process. And, we're very grateful for that.
Shout out to Jazz, man. Let me get real rattle talk.
We wouldn't be at the position we're in right now.
Yo, I will tell you a quick story about Jazz. I'm driving through my old hood, right? In Richmond. It's Bird Park. We call it Randolph, right? The black folk in Richmond call it the West End, but y'all now the West End is Short Pump. But there was a black, because we were a very segregated city, so there was a black West End and there was a white West End. I grew up in a black West End around Bird Park between VCU and Carytown, and it was just all black. You fast forward to the early 2000s, VCU started, grabbing properties here and there, and I started seeing an incursion of the gentrification, which is crazy. Like, I was just like, where the fuck everybody go? I was like, Mom, your neighbors, where they? Because some of the neighbors passed away, some of the neighbors sold or whatever. So my mom was the only African American on the block. Everybody else was renting out to VCU students and everything. Okay. Who do I see on the block?
Yeah.
Yo, I understand what the kids said to spin the block, right? So the fuck you doing over here? And she was like, oh, this is my property right here. I said, oh, shit. I said, oh, you was getting money because, yo, that part of town I would say back in just before, I say the early 2010s, was bubbling. And so she was really into it. So then when I got to office and I saw her, we have a listing of everybody whose businesses is there. And I said, Jasmine, I said, I know you. You work at the. She was like, yeah. And she said, I do real estate and I'm an investor, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, I just got a measly old podcast office right here. We just come in here and fuck around. I just come in here and fuck around. Then I see her at the comedy joint. I mean, she's a good person. She's good money. And so she, at least you say, walked you through the real estate investment door.
Correct. Because when I went to school in COVID, of course, there was no contact with people, so I just did some online classes. Finished, got my property management certificate and everything. I started now, once things start opening up, I started cleaning the rental properties. Come to find out, most of these were Jazz properties. So then now me and her, I had contacted, hey, Jazz, what's going on? And then we start talking. Then she started laying down what she really got going on in the city. I'm here. That building, I got a couple units here. That's when I had to talk with my wife. And that's when we had that brunch. And from that time, I kid you not, like this time last year, we didn't have anything up until April. And April is when it happened.
April of 2024?
This 23.
23, okay.
April 2023, that's when the property opened up. And that's when we got our first property.
How'd that feel when you closed that deal?
Oh, that was sweet.
Yeah, man.
You know why? Because I had already spent a lot of money in doing it.
You invested. That's what an investor is.
It was all money I was losing. Like, we weren't getting anything back from it. I'm in courses. I'm paying 5 racks for courses and all. And we sitting in these courses and all of this, and nothing is coming. Jazz was like, yo, bro,
stay sick with it.
Keep your money in your pocket. I know everything you need to know. Holler at me. And that's when we hollered at her.
Let's talk to the camera, to the audience a little bit, especially as entrepreneurs. When you bet on yourself, when you invest in...
I had a talk.
Go ahead.
I had a talk with my cousin, Mona Lisa Lopez. She's out in Rochester.
Exactly.
And
go vote Rochester. We need Rochester, Pennsylvania.
Man, I had a bet with her because she was running a couple businesses. Now, I met her one time my whole life. Now, it was when my dad was in Rochester. He had a stroke. And I went out to view him in the hospital. And he was like, well, while you here, you can meet all of the family on my side of the family that you never met in Rochester. So I met my cousin, Mona Lisa. She was telling me, and me and her like clicked because we were both entrepreneurs. So me and her clicked. Out of all of the family I met, me and her just clicked automatically. So we talking and then we exchanged numbers, and I just called her one day. It was like, one day I was just upset. I was back and forth to work, and I was like, yo, when did you bet on you? She was like, I was lazy. This is what she said. She was like, I was lazy, but eventually some things happened where my supervisor said a couple things to me. And eventually I was like, you know what? I can do this stuff myself. And once she bet on her, she was like, cuz I'm telling you, this is going to happen now. Mind you, this is January of 2023. So I said, I can guarantee you January of 2024, we're going to have a different conversation. So April, we got our first property. January of 2024, we got our second property. So at that point, my wife and I was moving.
Yeah. And the reason, and I'm glad you brought up, shout out to Mona Lisa, Rochester, the building. It's a difference when your capital is up against it.
That's a big difference.
Big difference, because then, like, you can't. We was talking off air, like we don't have time. Right. Oh, no, that's the wrong drop.
You're hit. You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to bleed.
I ain't got time to bleed.
Yeah, you're right.
Because I got greenbacks and then some. Forget the money and the capital. I got people depending on me to flip this capital.
Right.
So it's all on. I mean, it's not a pressure. I don't know if you could. I'll let you speak for yourself. But for me, it didn't feel like pressure. It just felt like it was something pushing me.
What pushed me was, I'm gonna tell you what really pushed me. I was working FedEx. I was driving FedEx, I was there about 3 years. Majority of my managers was younger than me. Like they were all my kids' age.
Oh wow!
And I kept arguing with one of the managers. He just, I don't know, for whatever reason, this dude just kept arguing with me. But I'm
young
like,
cat.
yeah, but he's my son age, so it's like,
I ain't gonna argue with you, but so much more, young
yeah.
blood.
But nah, but
Like
what
the shit out
happened?
your ass.
You know, I asked for. I was there through, so I was like, hey, can my pay go up another $100?
Mm-hmm. I need that bread.
He increased my pay $95.
Mm.
In my head, it's like he ain't say it, but he said it. I'm telling you what I'm gonna do. But I ain't gonna give you what you want.
Yeah.
But I'll give you what I need to give you. It went up $95, so I said, like, you gonna lose $5? Like, but it also let me know, like, this man could tell me when I can take vacation, when I can be with my family. So I kid you not, August of 2023, I saluted. He called me. I said, I ain't putting that uniform on no more. By then, y'all have saw my first post. I was in Tennessee. I was in Kentucky. I was in all through the Midwest. That's when lows.
Hey, yo, I first saw that, baby. I said, first of all, I thought you was still in the same building. But then, and it was around the same time they taking those shorts kind of blossomed around the fall of 2022. So all of 2023, I'm putting in all this research, all this work, and then I think first episode dropped. And then I think not too long after that, I see Ed talking about lows, plug in. I'm like, he on the road. I'm like, damn, I know my nephew a trucker. I know a lot of cats that they don't even do the trucking. They do the van joints.
Yeah, and that's what I was doing. I just told I wasn't even in an 18 with. I was doing the cargo game.
Yeah, they was
going as far as Kansas City in my cargo van. Like, I'm moving general freight everywhere. I'm making my money. Truth be told, my wife gave me a high five because what ended up happening is I was bringing in the same exact money I was bringing in working for FedEx. And I didn't have benefits at FedEx, so really it was just you trading time for dollars.
Right.
And that was like, I can do this on my own.
It's a certain freedom when working for yourself. I ain't gonna say certain.
You gotta have discipline.
Yeah, it's very definitely.
You gotta have discipline. If you don't have the discipline, then you can get up and. I learned when the bills is gonna come. It don't matter if it's your birthday, if it's Jesus' birthday, if it's your mama birthday, grandmama birthday. Bills is gonna still hit that mailbox.
Somebody gotta pay it. Somebody gotta go get it. I'm
in a cargo van, so I don't know the little hacks of what to do when you gotta be out on the road. So I don't know to make little airbeds and put it in the back, but I'm just calling up family members. Yo, I'm in your town. I'm coming through. And that's basically kind of how I did it. So I had a safe place to be if I wasn't staying in a hotel. Like if I'm going to Tennessee, I ain't got nobody in Tennessee.
Right.
So I'm booking hotels.
Right.
But that's cutting into my profit.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, all right, I got to go further north because the furthest
you go where your folks is, so that way they're not cutting into it. Okay, you got someone spot. Yeah. That's
kind of how I was. So I'm back and forth. I would never go back. I would never go to New York. I already knew I hate the traffic in New York, and I was born already.
But it takes time. It takes away your time off. Yeah.
And I don't want to be around family, and they want to talk. I gotta go. I'm trying to make this bread.
Yeah.
So one of my cousins, he was in Jersey. He was like, "Yo, cousin, trying to do the same thing." And then, funny thing, it was like I was the guinea pig.
Oh shit!
No, I was the guinea pig.
Hold on, let me find the old shit, Joe.
I was the guinea pig because it's like, you know how we always sit around in the break room, at your job, and be like, man, I'm gonna be out. I'm gonna leave this joint and go do my own thing. It's just the fact that I did it.
Yeah.
So my baby girl was talking to my wife and was like, "Hey, really did it." Like,
it's a big difference.
Yeah, it's like, so my wife gave me a high five, and my wife. Salute to my wife. My wife is a savage, man. My wife didn't come up being an entrepreneur. I came up being an entrepreneur under my mother. And like I was telling you that when I came in, I smelled perm. I smelled burnt hair, stuff like that in my house. I wasn't smelling chicken and and cornbread when I came in the house. My mom was doing hair. Because like I said, I'm the oldest of 6 and I'm the man of the house. So now she's doing hair. Up until she started getting multiple beauty parlors, I had to cook. For the house. For the family. I had to cook. I had to do everything. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I learned the entrepreneur, because she'll be doing part of the business now. It's like, hey, son, go, all right, unthaw that fish, do this, put the cornmeal on, do all. She's showing me how to cook. Oh, you understand? So, and I'm a teenager, but she's showing me how to do all of this. Right. So at the time, so now when I end up having kids early, my first daughter was born when I was 16. 17. So no. So was I 17? So I'm a kid raising a kid. Yeah. The only thing my mom said was, you just have to finish high school. I don't care what you do. That's your child, that's our child. Amen. We got to grow into it. A lot of us is just Gen X's. Yeah. We had to grow into parenthood based off of our parents. Probably, I mean, my mom had me when she was 15. My mom had me when she was 17. You know, so yeah. It don't to me, I was, maybe because our community is a little different than other communities, especially if there's good people around, if there's a good nucleus of family around, they're not going to let nobody fall off, or, it's going to be every once in a while, like my uncle did a bit, it's always going to be one of them motherfuckers that. No, I got in some trouble. Well, I was out there getting in trouble. I ain't gonna lie. I was getting in a little bit of trouble. Yeah, you don't come off like the troublemaker. You're a kind. If you was, I'm the type of person where I'm cool until I feel like I'm the coolest person in the world. I'm gonna tell everybody that I'm the coolest person in the world. Yeah, he's cool. Trust me, y'all. I won't back down to anything. That's the thing. Just don't press him. Like, why would you press ahead? That's the thing about me. I won't back down. It don't matter who's standing in front of me. Right. I don't care who's standing in front of me. I won't back down to nobody. And one thing I hate is being told no. You're not big enough. You're not tall enough. You ain't strong enough. The word no fuels me. Yeah. Because I've been told no a lot of times, especially in New York. Mm-hmm. And you know what in New York is like, you got the best of everything. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We got 2 of every team in New York. I come to Virginia, just college and high school. Yeah. So I was like, oh, this is we claiming the Wizards. Yeah, but I'm like, it's a big difference, coming from that environment and coming out here to being in the Richmond area. It's a big difference. Like, yeah, you did the grind that folks from up top have. I live there, have plenty of friends from the tri-state area, and a lot of cats down here. They used to be like, yo, why you fucking with them? I'm like, hey, yo, you need to get like us. Don't hate, congratulate. Don't sit there and figure out, but you got to expand especially in business, you have to expand your horizons. So you got into real estate. Now you got into what is the proper phrase for it? The truckload movement. I just know it as loads. What do they call that? I just call it transportation. Yeah, you're in transportation. That's about it. You're in transportation. It's a lot of you got to be ready to be in that. It's not for the weak. That game is not for the weak at all. It's not for because it's been days where I've taken trips and that money got messed up when they sent me the money, or they sent it too late and it's a Friday and I'm in Tennessee. You got to wait till Monday before you can hit the road. Tuesday, really? See what I'm saying? Yeah, to get your bread so you can hit the road to get to the next. What happened is the sender, not the person I was giving it. The sender was like, all right, well, until the company, the dispatch company straighten things out, I'll front you that and just hit me back on the back end. And I hit him back on the back end, you know what I'm saying? And then we created a business relationship later. He was like, cool, because I always run stuff to Virginia Beach. And you in that area, I said, yeah, well, take my info. How important is developing, especially if you say 2023, now here we are a year later, is forging those relationships, those partnerships with folks. It's important. I say it's important Because one thing my step pops always told me, he said, "Don't never burn no bridges because you never know when you got to cross that bridge."
Man, that's exactly like that.
You never know. Because truth be
You might have to
told,
double back.
I have a lot of friends. It's not that I don't associate with them. It's just I'm in a different space in my life.
Amen.
And once you're in a different space in your life, it's not that I got to cut you off. It's just it's like you going to work, I'm going to work. You on the 2 train, I'm on the 5 train. I'm going this way, you going that way.
You could do hit me with one of these joints, and we got to go.
It's not no bad blood. It's just my position is going this way. Your position is going that way. So therefore, I look at it that way. So I don't burn those bridges. You know what I'm saying? And it's not to say I may need them later, but fact of the matter is, you never know when you're gonna need it. Because it's like when you in school and you making fun of the nerds, and truth be told, I was one of the nerds. Making fun of one of the nerds.
Hey, hold on, stop for a moment. I swear for Jesus, I thought you was one of these dudes from like Paid in Full that was up top pumping, right? And shit got too hot, and you was just like, I'm out. You was just too smart. It was just like, I'm out. These niggas, hold on, these niggas tripping. How Russell Westbrook say?
I mean,
I'm niggas tripping.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this.
That's how I said. And I said the vibes was like,
nah. But here's the thing. I'm not gonna lie. You know, there was a time of when I was actually something.
yeah, the times getting, but you was smart though.
But the thing about me is, I'm real leery about who I don't judge people, but I read people's energy. And the thing about it is, I don't like people coming to my home. I have a lot of associates and friends, but a lot of people have never been to my house. And my wife can say, she said to me, she was like, well, I see all of these people on your social media. I said, yeah, but how many people have been in my house? How many of these people have our kids played with? If my kids ain't played with your kids, we associates.
Yeah, we ain't like that.
Yeah, okay. They play with your kids, we associates. Because I also understand I'm in a different market too. You know, I'm in a different market and I'm in a different area. And a lot of people don't know my history, my background. They don't know my mama. They don't know my grandmama. They don't know my back. All they know is me, my wife, and my kids who traveled down here with me. And that's all they know. And they will take you at that, and that's the only lens they see you in.
Yeah, that's the. I mean, just as taking on shoulders. That's how I. Well, first of all, once I found out, once I found out you had kids, because I always, you don't have to say your age, but I always pegged you.
44.
Yeah, you a young cat compared to me. When I told somebody my age, motherfucker say, "God damn, God damn." I said,
now I was told I was ancient when I.
Nah, you have graduated. I can tell you that from when I've known you, and I don't know when we started to get. I started back in 2003, so I don't know when you came to the bank, but 2007, right? Yeah. So okay, yeah, that was around that time. So, I was like, okay, he's a young guy. So for when I saw young black men get on at that job, there's only two ways you could at that corporate type of environment. There's only two ways you can go. You can either play the game or you can figure out the game and go on and apply somewhere else, right? So then when I found out you was married, had kids, I was like, this man just doing the right thing. So I was like, he can't be that. He ain't that bad, but I know he probably.
Now don't get me wrong. I had my time. It's about. There's about balancing that time too.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. My wife is older than me. My wife is older than me. Yes, my wife is older than me.
Get it.
But the thing about it is, it's just balancing that time. And don't get me wrong. Being a younger man, and I was always in nightlife. And my businesses were always in nightlife. You know,
that's how I remember.
I had the
man out here with the magazine, out here doing the promotion, out here making videos. I said, yeah, that man out here, he a hustler.
Magazine, and then because what I initially started, how I initially started being an entrepreneur was I was selling things in my mom's beauty parlor.
Oh, Joey.
This is before we knew what Coach was. We just only saw it in Broadway.
Okay, you talk about the Coach bag?
Yeah.
Getting
those, putting them in the showcase, making them look nice. We're selling those. We're selling apple bottom jeans.
Hustler.
We're sitting 28th Street, man. And y'all know what that is about.
That is
But we was in 20, but it was clicking. Then, I'm like, I'm in my teenager. I'm 15, 16.
Oh, yeah, y'all get bad.
Y'all get bad bags. Right. So I'm bringing girls there, like whatever new girlfriends I get, I'm bringing them there.
Yeah.
Let them get their hair done for free. And now my mom's is getting new customers.
Yeah.
So it's an ongoing rotation. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I'm like, yo, I like this.
Yeah, and you a hustler. When I say hustler, that not in a
no, I get what.
Yeah, in that way, because I I've known you since 2007. Yeah. So you just and you said something earlier, like I don't judge people. People, when I hang around, when I have certain people around me, they was like, yo, why you hanging around? Like, yo, I really.
Truth be told, man, Jesus was around a lot of bad. But he,
first of all, I knew somebody.
Changed a lot of them. He changed a lot of them, and that's.
Cause I talk bad shit, so I knew you niggas like that. Right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I talk bad shit, so a nigga, and plus I'm a loyal dude, so.
Me too. I'm loyal.
Yeah, I'm loyal.
My thing is, I'm a Gemini. Y'all know how.
Oh shit! Here we go.
Y'all know how. Oh shit! It's like I'm as loyal can be, but the moment you cross me, it's gonna be hard to come back across that line.
Yeah, so
it's gonna be hard to come back across that line because it's like once a snake bites you,
you don't need to know no more.
You're gonna let it bite you again.
You gonna let it bite you again.
So that's my thing. It's like. That's why I said I feel like I'm the coolest person, and nobody really sees me ever as being a bad person.
Nah.
But naturally, I'm humble, I'm quiet. But while I'm quiet, I'm observing the whole.
Yeah, you an observer.
See who I want to deal with, who I don't want to deal with before I even say something to you.
Yeah.
So if I ain't really rock with you, then.
That's a reason for it, motherfuckers.
Energy is all.
I'm alive. I know y'all. Ed is humble about it. I'm alive. If I don't fuck with you, I don't fuck with you. I tell you to your face, fuck you. I fuck you. With love, though. With love in a Christian kind of way. When we come back here taking those shorts, we got plenty. That's that little. I wanted y'all to get a piece of pause on the piece, but I want y'all to understand who's sitting here beside me here Taking Those Shorts podcast before we come back and get into the second half of Taking Those Shorts. This man is out here working hard, putting in the work since 16, 17. You got the internship?
No, I got it at 16.
Yeah. And so
I was in corporate.
Well, I got a couple more minutes. So when my mom, when my first son's mother say, I'm late, right? And I was like, fuck you mean you late? You late. She said,
like, take a cab.
Yeah, she said. I said, I thought we would, I say we, I won't take no pills. Yeah, got you. I thought we was straight though. She was just like, yeah, we some type of switching of the joints. And the doctor said, yo, you need to wait till these new pills kick in. You can't tell 16-year-old Jay Grizzly to wait on some poontang. No way. We didn't shoot. I mean, back there going call shooting up the club. Nigga, I was catching the bus. I was catching the truck. I was wherever it was at.
Yeah, no. It was
16, you was doing the same damn thing.
Here's the thing. Here's the crazy part. When I was 16, of course, I'm at Rice, so we state and city championships. I'm starting point guard on my team. We win every year.
Oh, so you had it thrown at you.
And here's the crazy. It was an all boys school, so, and we had parties, but only girls could come.
I know how the game go.
No public people, only girls could come. So it's like, man, my kids called my mom's and was like, yo, how was dad in high school? Mom, it was on speaker. She was like,
he was a man.
That's exactly
what she said.
Your dad was the man in high school.
And what your kids say, God?
They just grin.
Because they don't know. Yeah, well, y'all age. When you
at what they say about what they doing.
I timestamp this. Ed, look at the camera and tell your kids that their mama was not lying. Y'all hear the rest of the episode.
Grandmama wasn't lying.
She won't play, y'all.
Grandma
You see how this man, you see the hat, you see the pocket square, you see it? Y'all sitting there having these, whatever the young kids do these days. Don't get it twisted, all right? One day y'all gonna get there. Y'all gonna graduate. You better hopes to get there, you did?
For real.
Because we're gonna show y'all the way. We're gonna give y'all that guidance that you wish you would have had when you got there. All right, first break here, taking no shorts. I'm gonna share that 16-year-old, 17-year-old story because she said, my mama said, that girl pregnant, ain't it? I said, how do you know? She said, you sleeping, you ain't going to basketball practice, you ain't doing shit. I said, I'm stressed, mama. I'm stressed. What am I gonna do? She said, nigga, you gonna take care of this baby. That's what you gonna do. You gonna be a man. I've been working ever since, man. So I'm 16. I was working ever since I was 16. I don't know nothing else.
My baby girl changed my life, man.
Yes. Yeah. My son did too. I wouldn't know.
I thought I was wrong till I had to be a father.
And you had a girl too? Your first baby was your baby girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, you grew up quick.
They always say, you know, whatever you have for you, if you got a girl first, it's because you was out there treating them ladies wrong.
Oh, that was out there taking that thing.
You done broke a lot of hearts. So now
it's time.
Somebody gonna break your heart. So I got him.
It's the way of the world, man.
Get out the room. I'll be like, go outside and play. I'll be like, yo, I'm tired. I've been out all day.
First break here, taking those shorts. Well, hey, make sure you like, share, subscribe anywhere where you find your favorite podcast. Also, every Friday, 8:45 p.m. CPT time. If you don't know what that means, go to the Ebonics, Google. It'll tell you, you dig. But Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch is the live stream. You'll see this episode. The guest, Ed Rice, is etched right there at the bottom of the screen. When we come back, we're going to get more of his thoughts on a lot more of that business, his faith, and much more here at Taking No Shorts podcast. In just a few. Make sure you like, share, subscribe anywhere where you.
Yeah, honey, I know. I know. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you coming on. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, honey. Yeah, I'm in the studio. I'm about to go. Damn, yeah, it was only 1 or 2 pictures, and it was just 'cause. 10, yeah. It was 10. You counted them. Huh. Well, I liked them all because she had a fat ass. I gotta go. Love you, bye. Taking no shorts. Coming right up.
We talking about practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game. We talking about practice.
Now I gotta talk, we all gotta be quiet. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, woo, wheeling dealing, limousine riding.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
And now your host, Taking No Shorts podcast, Jay Grizzy.
You just gotta let some of that simmer on, y'all sons of bitches. Not to say that my viewers are sons of bitches, but some of y'all. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Taking No Shorts podcast. I'm your host, Jay Grizzy Green, a.k.a. Mr. Leave No Meat on the Bone. No need to get to the rest of the AKAs that was on the first half of the podcast. This is the second half. Make sure you like, share, subscribe anywhere where you find your favorite podcast. Also, hit the notification button on the following streaming channels so you can get all the content. That would be YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Very special guest tonight, Mod Haven's own, Rice High School's own, and Mrs. Rice's husband, Mr. Ed Rice.
What it is, what it do, what the business is. Low.
Get that money. Get that money. Ed, welcome. Thank you for being here, sir.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate your patience with I hope it's not too cold. That's cold as shit.
It's not cold as me, man.
You know,
Right.
y'all sit out there on the corner. Give me a block in Mott Haven.
143rd.
143rd.
And 3rd Avenue.
Yo, I remember one time I took a train one time in New York City. It was late January. It was right after the Super Bowl. So I'm going to say this was when the Super Bowl was played in January, right? Late January, early February. Got off the train, and it was right by the water, and the wind hit me. All this was frozen. Shit had bristles. I looked like fucking Saint Nick out that bitch. I looked like Santa Claus. I said, hold on, my mustache got frost on. What the? Y'all cold different, man. I'm coming from down here.
You gotta buy your coat in New York for New York.
Yes,
you can't buy your coat nowhere else. You gotta buy it in New York, man.
Yeah, man. So,
August ends and Labor Day hits.
It's on.
You hoodie and leather jacket weather.
Well, so thank you, Ed. I appreciate it. Let's get into it. If anybody don't know, the ad's at the bottom of the screen. Mr. Ed Rice is my very, very special guest tonight, entrepreneur extraordinaire. We were talking on the break about marketing. Mm-hmm. Now, marketing probably when we came up or when you got into business from the magazine on is different now with social media.
Way different. It's a lot easier, but it's discipline because you got to be on social media a lot. You got to be on social media a lot.
I'm selling my whole ass on social media.
My thing is, I came up in an era where I like to socialize with people. I like to sit in front of somebody. That's back in those days. You had to get a client, to get somebody to come to you, talk to them. They got to hear your pitch. They go back, talk to their people, come back, talk to you and your people. That was back then. Now, it's just you just got to have something catch you online. And somebody just like, oh, I like them. Mm-hmm. We're going to post this. We're going to keep posting this. That's just how it is.
Flood the zone.
Right. So now it's like you just got to overdo it now with social media. It's way different. It's the marketing aspect is way different. Back in those days, I'm running a magazine. I can just go into the club and take fluorescent flyers when it's dark and just put them on all of the coffee tables because everybody's gonna see them. For everybody that came with fancy black flyers, you couldn't see it in the dark, but you could see.
One of those flyers got me. It was a Luke show.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but you would see our flyers because it was fluorescent. It was like neon green and neon yellow with red letters, and that's the only thing that is pretty much almost glowing in the dark. That's how we did our marketing. Also, we did using words that were common. So when I started my magazine, it was Protege Magazine. I was 25 when I started Protege Magazine. That was my baby. That was my first business I actually put together outside of just, selling stuff hand to hand for people.
Right.
That was my first business I put together. And when I did that, I started in my mom's beauty parlor. Like when she shut down her beauty parlor, she was my co-president along with Kenny Braun, which at the time was her mate. They were my co-presidents and they were guiding me through the business, but they were running the beauty parlor as well. But then it became a 24-hour job. And when it became a 24-hour job, she knew that, all right, son, I might have to back off a little bit because I got customers.
I got to get that work.
Right.
And that gave you an opportunity to bring other people on to Protege.
Correct. So outside of that, now, we had a guy that was next door that owned a barbershop next door to my mom's beauty parlor. His name was Ron Robinson. That's my big bro.
Exactly.
Ron Robinson.
Shout out to Ron.
Ron schooled me on a lot of things. That was my chief editor. And he was already into journalism, but he didn't really know us. It was a mutual friend that my mom grew up with who was working at Def Jam at the time, who was in the nightlife and entertainment. His name was Fence. And Fence introduced Ron to us. He let him come into one of our meetings because Fence was our consultant. Because Fence would get us all of the stuff from Def Jam, like when new stuff is coming out, the new posters. Yeah. And we would put all of that stuff up in the clubs when we doing our shows. So everybody like, wow, this is a small company, but they operate like it's a big company. So
they flooded the zone.
So just doing it, and Finch used to always say, if I take y'all to a radio show right now, would y'all think y'all do okay? And I said, yeah, I would think okay. He said, no, y'all won't, because y'all don't look like a team. And I said, well, help me understand what that means.
Yeah,
He said,
you asked the right question, because I'm sitting there saying, what you mean, nigga?
The thing is, he said, if you walk in, nobody knows who you are. They don't know you own the magazine.
So you had to put on a T-shirt or something to represent who you is.
So he was like, now you got your whole team, y'all gonna have to press with some shirts. You go in there, I'm your consultant. I'm around Def Jam people all the time. Let me wear the shirts around Def Jam. Let me, milk my way into there so we can get some of those artists and things like that. So we started doing that.
The branding part of marketing. How do you think? Because one of the things that jumped off for me starting taking those shorts was, I don't know what it was, but I just kept hearing branding. It's like you say Lowe's, like the brand. Like, how did you come, not just with the magazine, but just the branding? Like, how important is that to you when you're starting your business, to get folks to come see, notice the businesses that you're offering?
The thing about branding is you have to be in a position where it's something you're comfortable with. And if you're not comfortable with it, it's going to cause you a lot of challenges, because you're going to have to you're going to spend more time trying to brand for something you know nothing about. It's the same thing like stocks. You rather get in the stocks of something you already know. So like I would go into Polo, clothes I already wear, things like that. Going to, you know what I'm saying? I would go into stuff I already wear, so I could just see what they're doing. I'm already familiar with it. So with the branding, I was already into entertainment. I was already not a producer, but I was helping my younger brothers, and they were trying to be aspiring rappers at the time, which was Jetto and Onassis, Jetta Heat. And right now they're still doing their thing. But outside of that, the branding portion is my thing was, all right, this is how I figured. I looked at magazines and I saw what they didn't have. And I knew it was only a small section in majority of urban magazines that only had rappers or newer rappers in there. So what I did was I said, if I do a show, for everybody who performs in my show, they'll be in my magazine.
So that was a tandem there.
Right. So therefore, you got to understand, back in the early 2000s, there weren't a lot of smaller magazines circulating.
So therefore, I'm thinking Feds. I don't even think Feds was wrong.
You had Don Diva. Feds was up.
Yeah, I don't know why I wanted to be a thug. As square as I was.
Yeah, Don Diva. A lot of they were getting big. They were
bubbling.
They were bigger than us. Yeah, I can say that. They were bigger than us.
I don't say that. I just say they were on the radar.
Yeah. We weren't. But the thing about it is when we started branding, Rom came into the part of knowing. The thing about me and Rom is Rom was like, Ed, you have great ideas. He said, but I know how to execute. That's where me and my wife comes in. Like, it's like you can have, I'll put it this way, you got a lot of scientists, but a lot of the scientists are not people persons. So they can't tell you about it, but you get somebody who has a familiar voice. So it's like, I'm going to put this together, and then I need this good actor to present it.
That's just like me in chemistry in 11th grade. I ain't understand that shit, but the person, my tutor, was like, don't mix this, don't mix that. Oh.
Right. So that part of the branding, I had to get from Rom. Rom and Fence helped me a whole lot with that branding portion. And he kind of told me, like, just find all of the voids. So wherever you at, find your voids. And if you're from New York and you see, we 24 hours, you can see all of what's happening. So when you move to Virginia, find all of your voids that ain't there. And you take all of those pieces and you put them together. That's your prize list. And this is all stuff that's already happening in the city. You ain't recreating the wheel.
No.
You just putting it on a wagon. That's all, and you can move.
Yeah, we down south. It was easy to get, easy to market to, because there was what's called an emerging market. Right. Like they had a demand for artists, for artistry. You look at, I'll just say RVA or Central Virginia right now. It's known as an artist town. Like all the art, all the when I say artists, I'm talking about literal artists. They got an art district. The music scene is bubbling. They put a new amphitheater downtown. Like 20 years ago, you had to be thinking that this was going to be where this town was. Like even I just used from the comedy standpoint, like a lot of cats come to Richmond. You always hear about the big name artists, right? Mm-hmm. But they come to Richmond because Richmond has a comedy scene. And so if you're going to, one of the first shows that you're going to go on tour, if you're a Kevin Hart or you're a Cat Williams, is you're going to come here because if it don't work here, you know how to tweak it, twerk it before you take it to A-Town.
Bigger city, yeah.
To Philly or New York or something like that. You come and work it out here. So, you know, I think folks need to understand, I don't think they need to understand, but they need to recognize that, you know, it's not where you're from, it's where you're at. And you can always apply where you're from to where you're at.
And that's basically what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like I didn't, other than bringing some celebrities in town to actually be a part of the process when I was running the magazine, like I said, I used everything that was here. I just knew, one thing is, in school, I majored in marketing and management.
Oh, wow.
So therefore, me already majoring in marketing, I kind of already knew. Mind you, I was already out there trying to do stuff hand in hand. You understand? If I'm selling things at my mom's beauty parlor, now you got to understand, the worst place to be is in an African-American beauty parlor.
Full of women.
Full of women.
Some gay man, by the way.
No, back then it
was no gay man.
No, I'm just saying back then it really wasn't as much, and I'll say that it wasn't as much back then. Because you got to understand that was back in the 90s.
Yeah, taboo.
So that was a little different. The environment was different then. But now, being in that environment, I learned a lot of things. I learned, for one, how to talk to women.
Amen.
I learned what they like, what they don't like. I learned it's like I'm a fly on the wall. But while I'm sitting and I'm listening, it's my mom's friends, her clients. They watch me grow up. You understand? So now when they see me and they see my post,
Mrs. Rice, you need to go ahead and turn the podcast on.
Mama love, Ada Rice.
Yeah.
Love my mom. That's my superhero.
One of your mama's clients come up to you and say, "Hey, Eddie." I told you the second half of taking those shorts is going to be just that.
I mean,
you sell me.
Everything. I was around my mom, but I was independent. I didn't use my mom as a crutch. But my mom did her own thing. My mom was very good at doing what she does, as far as doing hair. My mom was very good.
Shout out to you, Mrs. Rice. Is it Miss Rice?
Miss Rice.
Miss Rice?
Yeah, she was very good at what she was doing. Exactly. But I was an individual. You understand?
You trying to make sure you don't got to do no more hair.
Mom know.
Yeah, you know.
Either way, I became an individual because the same thing is I had to. If you market something and I'm one of your boys and I'm hanging around and you try to market it to me and you know I'm going to hold heavy criticism, you're going to see if it works or not. You know?
That's where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
Team.
Yeah.
How you get coming up from 16 on down to today, putting together a team that fits, knowing who fits. How do you let somebody go? Because I've had to let people go from my team with my vision.
Sometimes you don't have to let people go. Initially, they're gonna leave on their own. I've never had to let anyone go. Let me stop. Let me correct myself. I did have to let somebody go.
Yeah, exactly. Hold on.
But now the issue was, it was just,
you ain't gotta give them too much, but give them just a bit.
It was just
out of pocket type shit. Nigga, motherfuckers.
It was somebody we were taking. Put it this way, we were taking care of. Meaning, We were getting their phone. Back then, you got to understand, it was minutes.
Yeah, you had to get on
We
time.
paying for minutes on phones. You know, we doing a lot of stuff for this person.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you got to remember, all of the technology back in the 90s wasn't as it was now.
So when you come home.
So we was doing a lot of stuff for this person. And then what happened is he was one of the writers. And he wanted to do somebody's story. Coincidentally, it was one of my friends who I graduated with.
Oh, you can't let that happen.
So I said, all right, let him do this story. But if you mess it up, he already on the hot seat. But if he mess it up, that's it.
Yeah. So you ain't really let him go, but you I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we have great mics here.
He just did a word. He did a word file.
Yeah, he did a file.
But we are doing. We in Adobe, like actually designing things. He just did a word file, and I'm like, "What is this? This is." Because mind you,
I'm sorry for laughing at that.
They're sending our magazine like to the Grammys and all that. They are contacting me directly and saying, "Yo, everything you got is not slander. It's not good. Y'all have a good magazine. Like it's a small magazine, but y'all have a good magazine, and what y'all doing is very powerful."
Right.
So I'm just like, all right, come on, dude. Like this story was something major for me because it was one of my friends.
You're being very gracious and you're very humble.
Nah, but sometimes you have to be that. Sometimes you have to be that in business. Reason being is because you can't be a butthole in business all the time, especially when you got to deal with people. So my wife always says a lot of times, she said, I don't know how you deal with that. I said, because everything you don't have to jump off the handle with.
Yeah. Because I know a lot of people that have that thread of energy that you have, and they're very successful, just like you have. Like, this is for me why I'm a solo, or like I'm always tell people comedy is a solo game, but then people don't really know it's not. Like, there's a team of writers, there's people that, you know, and I have a hard time, I have a hard time just saying, you know what, I got to stay focused. How do you, I ask the same question to some of the same cats that do this, when you're dealing with as people in business, how do you say you stay focused? Somebody throw you off your game in the business. Let's say if it's in the real estate investing, or let's say it's in the transportation, and you're dealing with people. Mm-hmm. And this person is a whole person. If it wasn't for this business, I wouldn't even be fucking with you like that. You did?
Exactly.
But you say, you know what? I'm gonna get this. How do you maneuver through that? That's that's a tough thing. That Jay Grizzly.
I'm gonna tell you. I go back to my foundation, which is my haven.
Okay.
I've dealt with a lot of traumatic things in my life.
Yeah. So you just say that.
And I also say to myself, like, is this person causing me to lose the money on the business
on a bigger scale?
Are they affecting me in another way? If they're not, everything else can be worked out.
Everything else is
a
bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
Everything can be worked out. That's how I look at it. I
tell my wife
things happen all the time. I said I've dealt with a lot of pain.
Yeah.
She watched me break my hand and drive myself to the hospital. She said, "Nah, if your hand is broke, you'll be hollering and screaming." I said, "No, it's broke." I said, "This whole thing is shattered. The whole hand was shattered. All knuckles gone, everything."
Oh shit!
Like this.
And you won't try to go to the joint? You gonna try to go to the hospital?
I drove myself to the hospital. She said, "How are you driving yourself to the hospital?" I said, "Things happen. My injury."
Yeah, that's some different shit, y'all.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you.
But I can just. I have a lot of patience. You know why? When you get hurt in a lot of situations, as a kid, like I'm being honest. Like I told you, my first half of my life, I was sheltered. So when you sheltered, you deal with a lot of things, and you don't have a voice. And then eventually, once you get that voice, you let everything out. So when I started marriage counseling, my marriage counselor was saying, he said, who is the most stressed out people? I said, well, it's people that probably run their mouth. He said, no, they're not. He said they're less stressed because of that. He said because they shoot it from the hip and they let it go. They not harboring on it. So if you harboring on it for 2 weeks and then you want to deal with it then, everything else that happened in that 2 weeks, you're still dealing with.
Yeah.
So I just look at it like everybody got a piece of the pie.
I want you to come back as another cat that I make money with. He's videographer, producer, music producer, everything. He did first half of this. Y'all kind of remind me of each other. Y'all kind of in the same age range. My youngest brother was born in '80, so y'all are all around the same.
I'm 1980.
Yeah, so, but y'all mindset are so. I wish I had that mindset.
I'm gonna say what you say, man. I ain't got time to bleed.
Hold on, let me find it.
I ain't got time to bleed, man.
You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to bleed. It just is what it is, man. Like my stepfather.
That's what they say though. Like
I always say, like he would
just keep it pushing.
When I was playing ball, he would foul me a lot. He never explained until one day.
Oh, while I think about Bird off above the rim, what he said.
but I said to him, I said, "Why you keep fouling me?" He said, and at that time, Michael Jordan was my favorite athlete. So he said,
"Hold on, who was your favorite?
Michael Jordan."
Okay.
So he said, "When Jordan goes to the hole."
Knicks fan?
Huh?
My ADD.
I'm a Knicks fan, though.
But how can you like Jordan as a Knicks fan?
How can you not like Jordan?
No, I can't.
It's a lot of people I can respect. Like I
respect Jordan.
Yeah,
but I
like Jordan. But here's the thing: he was saying, like, when Jordan goes to the hole, you see how much he gets fouled, but he still makes the basket. He said, so therefore,
he still come through.
I need you to do your calisthenics, and I need you to do all of this. So now, when I had kids and my boys grew older, I would do the same thing, but I would explain it to them sooner than later.
How many boys you got?
I got 4 boys. 4 boys, 2 girls.
6.
They go from 31 to 17.
Hey, man, let's round of applause for that. Goddamn it. Shit.
31 to 17. So I got young adults.
From 16 to today, ladies and gentlemen.
31 years. My bonus son, yeah.
When people tell you that the black man ain't flourishing or the black man can't come up from whatever, here are 2 examples right here. And the same, I'm sorry, going to politics for a second. The same ones that sitting there saying they can't pull a lever for Kamala because if you were selling weed in California, shame on you. It's California. What you doing selling weed in California? And you getting pressed. You getting mad because she doing her job. Look, man, shit gonna get crazy. Gonna get crazy in about 3-4 weeks. All I know is I'm ready. I did the marketing. I wanted to talk to you about, because you spoke about Mrs. Rice several times tonight, and she's an integral part of Ed Rice's businesses. How did you incorporate Mrs. Rice into the business? How do you balance that? Like, how does that happen? Because that's not an easy thing, bro.
It's not an easy thing if you're not doing the same thing. If y'all not on the same page, then therefore it's not going to be an easy thing. But I know me, and I'm an entrepreneur, and I've been an entrepreneur longer than my wife has been an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. So I know I'm jumping out running. But my thing is I got to walk with her. You understand? I got to jog with her. Because at the end of the day, if she don't know, if I can teach her how to get hers, that she ain't worried of looking over my back about what I'm doing, or what understand?
Was the walk okay?
The walk was great.
The walk was great.
The walk was great because she started her own walk. She didn't just jump into a business with me.
She had her own? Go ahead.
Yeah, so initially, my wife, for her first business, it was with Zapata. And she was selling like costume jewelry. Mm-hmm. It didn't really work. And then she went to Tracy Lynn, more costume jewelry. Mm-hmm. And it was good because it was stuff she wore. She didn't really wear the Zapata.
She didn't invest in something she didn't believe in.
Nah, but I invested in her. Yeah. That was the thing. Yeah. I invested in my wife because she saw how I was running the magazine. So my wife was like, hey, I want to talk to you about something. I seen this other company I want to get into. Can you help me out? So I invested in my wife. So she liked it, and the stuff looked good on her. So whenever she was at those conferences or those meetings or the group meetings,
Y'all hearing me pull that yak. That's what y'all hearing. Basically saying. Let's keep it a bead.
They be like, Mrs. Rice, like, you really look good in the jewelry.
Yeah.
You understand? So in that process, when she got her first dollar, she came, she said, now I understand what you mean. Because I got my first dollar.
First of all, do you know how hard it is to have a woman admit anything? You got to understand.
Nah, but here's the thing. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you cut me off.
The issue is, I put in a lot of hours in my business. And so...
You set the example.
No, it wasn't the example. It was a problem because she wasn't in the magazine business with me. So what ended up happening is in the magazine business, I was around a lot of women. I was around a lot of models. And then I was around models that weren't a part of my magazine, but they were submitting photos to be my centerfold.
Yeah, I saw something though.
So what happened is...
God bless. God bless.
So what happened is when I did one magazine, I said, how can I get her involved in this? Because my wife is more administrative stuff. Like I said, all I've known her to be is work with attorneys and do administrative stuff.
Right. That could help. That help goes a long way.
Gloves and boots. Like, I need to put my hands on stuff. I need to move this. Let me do this. So what happens is I had her pick the model for the centerfold. I said, and what I did was I left the room. I said, you go do this.
Incorporate.
You a diva, pick a diva, I'm out. And I walked out the room. And I let her pick that.
I think I bought that magazine. I think I bought that exact magazine.
But I had her do it because I knew that started becoming and we were engaged at that time. We weren't even married, but we were engaged. But I knew it was starting to become a problem. Yeah, but I knew it was a key point in selling my magazine because majority of my magazine was really geared to men. So then I had to talk about when she read it, she was like, yeah, but this only talk about stuff men talk about.
Well, yeah, that's my
audience. I had to figure out how can I get women involved? Because understand, when we talking about music, you got to understand, when you do the math, most men don't really buy a lot of albums. We buy mixtapes.
Back then, yeah.
Exactly, when they were selling it. We were buying mixtapes. Women were buying the albums.
Come and talk to me.
You see what I'm saying? But so basically, it was like I had to get a female's perspective on what I'm doing. Even though it's male dominated, I still had to get a perspective. Yeah. So when I got her perspective, it opened up different things. So now we're doing stories of women writing that's pen pals to men in jail. We're doing a whole bunch of different stuff that caters to women.
Hold on. I need you. I wish I could pull. Do you have one of those I could pull up? I think that would be so interesting. I did not know until I visited a family member doing a stretch. And I asked him when he came home, 2012. I had a podcast. God, Jesus, I'm dating myself. But back then it wasn't called podcast, internet radio.
Yeah.
And when he came home, I said, come on, man. Come on my show. Come talk. Let everybody know. Trying to educate, but at the same time, have good content for folks. Right. And just, I'm happy to have my uncle home. That was all the vibes, right? And he came in. I said, yo, man. We've talked off the air like, yo, I know you ain't fugazi, right? Like, how you managing that joint? He was like, they got the guards up in that joint, right? They got female. I said, y'all got female guards in the jail giving up the Walla Bing biting? He was like, son, say less. So I said, save that story. Bring it to the podcast or bring it to the internet radio show. So he come on and he was like, nephew, I ain't gonna lie. I was fucking them guards. And a lot of cats. I don't even see. This is where I leave. This is where the podcast goes left. Because there's a lot of guys and a lot of gals in the correctional system that are doing the do. And I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. I always thought they was just getting a left hand or right hand of fellowship, or they was doing the other thing, and I was just like, yeah, I'm sheltered.
No, it's a lot of, I'll say this, it's a lot of politics when it comes to incarceration and being
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of politics, and a lot of that, like my step pops, he went in when I was 19.
Oh damn,
He just got home May 6th this year.
This year?
This year, May 6th.
Man, shout out to him.
So
exactly. Let me give him a round of applause.
He went in there when I was 19, came out May 6th, 2024. So
damn.
Then again, you got to understand, I'm back being the man of the house.
Yeah.
But I always kept in contact.
Kept in contact with him.
Trust me, J-Pay know my name.
I feel guilty. I feel bad.
Know my name.
That same uncle I lost in 2021 in December 29th, 2021. One of the last conversations we had was in front of my grandma's house on the corner. And he was giving me like some game.
He was dropping gems on you.
Yeah, he was dropping gems on her, and I just had to ask him. I don't know what it would possess me. He's like, "Yo, man, how you do all that time?" And he did like 30 years, and I was like, "How you do all that time and you not bitter?" He was like, "Well, first of all, nigga, I ain't going back. I can tell you that."
Like this, because you don't miss too many summers. Like when Pops got home, like truth be told. Because him and my mom separated. When he went in. So he was with another lady. Of course, they're separated prior to him going in. Separated. And then he's with another lady, got married. And basically, long story short, she held him down. So me and her really held him down the whole way, all the way to 25. We held him down all the way. So
yeah, that J-Pay was paid up.
Bruh.
Because, honestly, though, Ed, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's how it got me to I'm about to go into my feelings.
Yeah.
Because I felt so guilty that night talking to my uncle on the corner of his mama house, my grandma's house. And I was like, man, I'm so sorry I ain't come as many times as I should have came to visit you, or I ain't put nothing on your books. Mm-hmm. Or when Granny would say, I'm going to, my grandma would never miss a trip to go visit him, right? Nah. But she, nobody else would do it but her.
But you got to understand this too. Regardless of what it is, it don't matter how bad your kid is. That's still your child.
That's still your kid. Yeah, I understand why Granny went.
So for that purpose, of course, she's gonna go. It don't matter. Like you can do the worst things in the world, but that's still your child. And you still going to support your child. You might not condone what they did. No. But you still want to be there, show
pride. If my kid, trust me, if my kids did any kind of shit, I would have done what my grandma did. But when I was like, yo, man, he was like, yo, I don't hold that against you, nephew. You was in college. You was doing what college kids do. I was out here.
No, you was living your life.
Yeah, I was just living my life. But I was just like, yo, man, if there's anything now that I can do, I'm doing it. So come on this show. Tell everybody your story. Let somebody hear what they need to do. And I got the story on how he got locked up. It was all because a motherfucker was running his mouth. Just on some G shit. Like he owed my uncle some money. Mm-hmm. And in the neighborhood, people was telling him, because my uncle was he was a known nigga. Like he was like, yo, people was like, yo, so-and-so's looking for you, man. You need to get that man his money. This is in the 70s.
Okay. Way different.
Way different version.
No social media.
Yeah.
You pull up.
So when somebody...
I was really pull up.
Yeah, that's when somebody say, when 3 or 4 motherfuckers tell you somebody looking for you for their money...
Then it's even one of 2 things. You either going to pay him or you going to leave town.
And he said, fuck him. I ain't getting that nigga shit. And the word got back to my uncle that he said that. Can't let that shit. he can't let that shit slide. So when he gave me, that was the first time it took me, damn, I was in my 40s when I heard this story. Because I always wondered, what hell, how you get pissed? And then the folks that testified on him was like, on some bullshit. So I was like, yo, you got convicted off of some hearsay and then 30, 40, 35, 30, 40 years, all because the nigga owed you some money and he ain't give it to you. He was like, but nephew, back then,
it was different.
That time, you could not, your name preceded yourself.
Correct. Because after that, it's like, if
everybody owns you.
Then we gonna pick on your kids because your kids. We gonna look at your kids.
Yeah. So shout out to his son.
Yeah,
because his son, folks, I keep him close, and I say, you ain't your dad, but we not gonna let no fuck shit happen. That's for sure.
That's basically.
I'm not a gangster. I'm just not a gangster. Let me put this bamboo down and get back to the podcast. Yeah. Bad choices. That's so. Ed, every guest here at Taking No Shorts partakes. Now you can do hard take. I do bad choices because bad choices is so much better than that. It's a card game. It's usually for house parties, but for the podcast situation, for our guests, we just want some entertainment, and I'm just gonna pick one out, and then that's a pause. That's a super pause. That's a good one. All right. That's a good one. Then you can pick one for me. You want to pick, since I'm the host, you want to pick one for me first, and then so you can feel more comfortable. and so you be like, well, Grizzly ain't gonna set me up for the okie doke here. Nah, brother Jay not gonna do that. If you don't like it, you can pick another one.
I already know what that is.
Yeah, you can always pick another one. I keep
in that space.
Yeah, I keeps it open and I keeps it funky. How my brother Marcus J said, I keeps it funky. You want to read it?
Yeah. I want to say, would you never have sex again in your life for $3 million? Nah. I don't even gotta know what I know.
Everything still working. Everything $3 million is relative. Nigga, I can make $3 million. Nah, I'm not giving up sex. Yeah, nigga, I'm not giving up the hoo-ha for $3 million. I'm definitely. Y'all can keep the $3 million. I take my chances with the Powerball. Got the pause.
Have you ever gone through your partner's phone?
Damn. Go ahead, Mr. Rice.
Well, my wife, I don't go through her phone. Listen, I look at it this way, man. If I'm gonna see it, I'm gonna see it. If I don't see it, I don't see it. But fact of the matter is, I don't gotta go through her phone.
I think if I think, then I probably have.
I've taken her phone and thrown it, but I ain't
You ain't purposely say I'm looking for something.
Yeah, I ain't.
Yeah.
For what?
Yeah, that's why.
It's more like,
because if you got to do all that,
like teenager, juvenile stuff.
Yeah, if you got to do all that, you already know what it is.
Grown. I ain't.
Yeah.
Listen. You can pay attention to signs. You ain't got to look at. I ain't got to look at the phone. I can see. And again, I'm humble. I'm quiet, but I just wait till people run their mouth. That's me. People run their mouth, I'm a catch.
Mrs. Rice, please do not run your mouth around this motherfucker. Okay, do not. Okay, he definitely will use that against you in a court of law. All right. And 3 or 4 kids, he will tell your kids, don't tell daddy. Daddy will do it. Speaking of that, for $100, would you tell a child that Santa isn't real?
And I tell a kid Santa ain't real for $no.
For $no.
I work hard.
Yeah, for your money.
I work hard.
Next one, Mr. Rice. Next one.
I wouldn't tell a baby. I'll just let them figure it out.
Man, I'm going to tell you, Santa Claus was real as shit to me up until I went downstairs and saw, this was 1970, this was a year before you, 1979, and I saw the Santa. Now, I don't know if y'all remember Samurai Warriors. I was big into Godzilla, all those monster movies.
Everybody was in there.
Yeah.
Especially with the Chinese.
Yeah. I was big into the Kung Fu, all the Japanese shit. I was big into just full Voltron, full all Transformers. there were samurai warriors. And I told my mom I wanted a samurai warrior for Christmas, right? Told Santa Claus somewhere in this mall down here in Virginia or whatever. And I don't know how my mama made it happen, but I heard some clicking and clacking downstairs. And we was living in before this is we was living in a project called before Essex Village was it's called Essex Village now, but it was called Laverna Manor back in the day, little 2-story type joint. And I hear some clicking and clacking downstairs. I wake up, not to think that anybody was in there, because my dad was shot him. But I'm like, is that Santa? I'm 8 years old. Is Santa in my house? And I look and I see that goddamn samurai warrior. I said, oh, I think I almost nutted. Pause. I say, oh shit, Santa brought me. But then I said, no, Daddy put that shit together. That ain't no goddamn Santa. What the fuck? But the next morning, I act like Santa Claus was really the motherfucker, because when I saw that samurai warrior, I was like, what's up? And shout out to, it's a group on Facebook that have toys from when you grow up. I joined it because they showed the goddamn same toy. And I was like, oh shit. So favorite toy growing up. So you get to your next joint. Favorite toy.
It was wrestling figures.
Oh, which one?
I like all of them. I didn't
the joints that stretched or the joints that...
Nah, just the regular joints, just the arm move. yo. Just the arm move. Back in those days, there was no wrestling belt, so we took the cardboard in the house, cut it up, made a wrestling belt. We had a long hallway, and it was a very narrow hallway, so we would just put a radio in the back of the hallway, play the music, and come down the aisle.
Wrestling fan.
What? Bruh, when they came to the Beacon, that's the first time I like really saw it in person, but they came out here, man. And not the Beacon, I'm thinking about New York.
No, that's all right. I mean, if the WWF came
they came here to Richmond. I took my boys and I took my neighbor's son, and we went there.
John Cena was, what year was this roughly?
This was
early.
John Cena was on.
John Cena was on it. So that's early 2000 to mid 2000.
Yeah. And that's the first time I saw it. I'm like,
can't believe this. Because the wrestling when we came up is definitely not the same.
It's not the same. But I'm just like,
let me tell you something, brother.
Yeah, the Hulk, all that, Macho Man, all that, man.
Yeah.
British Bulldog.
Yeah. So
that was, that was it.
Thinking, Ed Rice was there. He was on, he was on some wrestling figures,
I think, like, when I kind of stopped watching it, truth be told, I think they were starting to get into the women, and China was the
tits and ass shit.
She was the main chick, so she was beating everybody up. And then, that's kind of
now they, the joint now they got Instagram models on.
It's
crazy. It's crazy. And Rice, goddamn pro wrestling fan.
Bro, me and my cousins, we'd be in our tidy whities with our socks pulled all the way up to our ankles.
Put your bed up.
We'd be shirt off, be coming. Running through the hallway, bro. It was crazy. Like, we wait till our parents ain't home, and we be acting up.
Nobody fuck with Shawn Michaels, I hope. Shawn Michaels, for real? He's just a sexy boy. You see the joint with Vince McMahon now? You know what he going through?
No.
You ain't heard about it? Oh shit, Ed. This motherfucker ever tell you real shit. Vince McMahon, first he had to retire. They kicked him out.
I remember that his kids was running.
Yeah, they kicked him out. But the reason they kicked him out was he was paying out all these settlements to chicks.
What?
He was doing dirt ball. Yeah, he was doing dirt ball shit. He was doing some.
He looked like.
Yeah, he was doing some real dirt ball shit. Right.
He just looked like one of them. I'm gonna do what I want to do.
I'll just say this: go look up Vince McMahon's latest lawsuit. It's almost on Diddy. It's past Diddy levels for real. Like Diddy shit, niggas come up. I seen Diddy gets sued by 100 people from Texas. I said, how the fuck he gets sued? Yo, nigga, don't stop that. Stop that.
Once they start coming out with
stop that. Yo, like that. I mean, if you that's taking
people gonna once they saw Cassie get paid, everybody want to get paid. It's like, come on, man.
Stop that. Like
that's how it is. It's like you once they see it work. Oh, it worked. So now everybody want to jump on the bandwagon.
And it's easy to sue because all you gotta do is go down to the courthouse, have a lawyer write up a goddamn affidavit, and that's it. So
that's the crazy part. People can just lie.
Yeah, you can put up anything, and that's not a defense to what Sean Combs may or alleged have done. I've seen the tapes and all that, so I'm not saying none. I'm not even speaking on that. I'm speaking on just the simple fact that somebody could go down to the courthouse and say Jay Grizzly did this. And y'all just run with it because
just that easy.
That's crazy.
I almost caught a situation because of that. Like somebody said that about one of my younger brothers.
Right.
And I lost it, bro.
Yeah, you snapped.
I snapped on dude. Because it was like he was acting like he was joking, but he kept doing it.
Yeah, it's so funny at that point.
There was too many people kept showing up and saying it like, yo, I heard such and such. I'm like, what? You keep saying that. I'm like, oh, this person. And coincidentally, one day I bumped into him, and it was like 10 of us around.
Yeah, so like, what's up, man? Come on, what are you talking about? We let's give him the AI joint.
No, we had to have a talk.
Yeah.
Talking about practice.
We had to have a talk.
Not a game. Not a game. Not a game. Talk. We talking about practice.
Crazy, but
not a game.
People can just lie.
Yeah, and that's
that part I don't see. I'm the type of man I acknowledge everything. And even if I mess up, I acknowledge
I claim it.
I claim it. I stand 10 toes in it, all the way up knee deep. And whatever I do, I do. I'm my own man. I'm too grown to be peer pressure. Can't nobody force me to do nothing.
Amen.
So therefore, you do something, own it, man. Own it.
I think that comes from being young parents. Honestly, I think shit was thrust upon us so soon. Like our lives. I'll say mine, and you can speak for yourself. My life, once I became a dad at 17, was no longer my own. God had it first, but then once another human being was sharing something, another life with me, it was no longer my own. So I stepped away from all that other shit, and it's just like I got to do right by them now. You know what I'm saying?
Because even with my kids, like some of my bad choices, I still tell my kids. One thing I don't like is people that they want power over you, but I don't let them have power over me. Because my bad choices, I will say first to everybody. I
take it away from them.
And once you take that away from somebody, it's nothing you can do with it.
There's
nothing you can do with it. Like, what you gonna do with that power? Nothing.
No.
So therefore, I tell my kids, I made some dumb mistakes. You know, I did some juvenile things when I was young, and but like I said, sometimes you tell a kid, don't touch the iron that's hot. You walk out the room, you hear them screaming. And I said, I told you, don't touch the iron. But guess what? Sometimes you gotta let people bump their head. And that's about it. Sometimes you gotta let people bump their head, but still in all, I acknowledge what I do. I let my kids know what I do, because fact of the matter is, I don't want my kids to know anything that I'm doing wrong from somebody else.
Yeah, no, you gotta hear from the source.
Somebody else's story is gonna be way different from what really happened.
Man, talk on it. Boy, you preaching tonight. You should have been a preacher. I'm telling you, like, I tell my kids the same thing. I got 3 boys, and I tell them, like, yo, would you rather me when they was younger and I could smack the shit out of them? You know, would you rather me smack the shit out of you or somebody else on the school? Because if you go up to the schoolyard or to the bus stop, the cat that's gonna smack up, the cat that's gonna walk up on you, he not gonna play fair. Right. I'm fair because I'm fair because I'm part of you.
I got genuine attention.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna
Stuff
hit you.
Good or not.
Right, I ain't gonna hit you because I want to hit you. Like, you got the choice to bully your kids, but you choose like, I don't want to do that.
One time, I only smacked my kid one time. I said smack.
I was back in them days. One thing I can say is when, like, I was a parent that I didn't play. See, I was raised different from my wife. You know, I was raised with Southern roots. And them Southern roots, like my grandmama, she from...
They play that shit.
Listen. It was like...
She'll smack you and leave all this shit.
My grandmama had 8 kids.
Hey, man.
And majority of the dads of my cousins wasn't around. You know what I'm saying? Some, maybe a few was around.
They from down south, probably?
Nah, my grandmama and my grandpa was they was from down south.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I think she was from like Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay.
And
Damn.
you know what I'm saying? So
they get the whole switch.
Thing about grandma didn't play. My grandmother, Miss Frances Rice, didn't play. She didn't play.
You been to Mississippi?
Huh?
You been to Mississippi?
Yeah, I've been there. I've been to Mississippi. I had to drive to Mississippi.
Boy,
when I was doing my runs, lows, bro. I was right out there.
Talk about some pause. Lows. Yo,
I've been out to Mississippi, bro. Seriously, like
that shit is like a throwback. Like literally, I mean, there's no disrespect because I know this shit go around the world. So, I've been way down south from Virginia, and I'm like, man, that's so sad. I wish that there was a way we could circumvent that power structure, because I think, like, I see Brett Favre, he robbed a whole bunch of people off of welfare in Mississippi. At the same time, Jackson State, which is in Mississippi, got robbed because of the water. Like they divert bad water into the school. Like, it's a lot of folks that look like us that's in these parts of the country that don't get the help that they need, or the representation that they need. And I wish it was, I don't know what it is, because I'm not that I'm not that inclined to help. But when I go past, I tell you what, when it ain't no more Wawas, that's what it is. When I don't see no more Wawas,
Pop shop.
Yeah. Because
I haven't seen them. Listen, man, I done been on that road, bro.
And you said to say, and see how you because you said that, like, I focus on the money, I focus on the bag. I gotta keep going. I'm sitting there like,
the only place I didn't want to stop was West Virginia. And here's the crazy part. I've never been to West Virginia. I just heard a lot of bad things about West Virginia. But everybody in West Virginia treated me nice. It just certain people, when I stopped, was acting kind of funny.
It's just
but I just said, get in your van. This ain't the place. This ain't the place for you to run your mouth.
That's why
get in your thing. Funny thing is, a couple miles away, I ran into Maryland. And I was like, man, if I knew I was going to be in Maryland, I'd
have really shake the ass.
I'd stop. You know, but like I said, it's just
crazy.
Some places, man, I don't know, man.
I think people need to just open up. I mean, I think it's an education issue there with folks down south, further down south.
But some people, you got to understand that some of these small towns, they don't really let a lot of people in. It's not saying a lot of people in. It's just like, it's not open up for newer people to come in. It's not like...
It's almost like Virginia was in the 90s. Like, when I came back to Virginia, people was like, we thought you was dead. I was like, because Virginia was a murder capital. I was like, why y'all think I was dead? Ain't nobody gonna shoot me. I wasn't in the crime game or the drug game or nothing like that. Yeah. I just got some good hoo-ha and went to New York. You know, so, oh my God. Great conversations here with Mr. Ed Rice. Did you want to put you on one more, or we good to go?
No, we're good to go.
We're good to go. That is the one and only time that a guest will tell Jay Grizzy to rap, because usually I will go until the cows come home. He didn't even see me hit all his weed on it. God damn it. It's a wonderful, wonderful day here at Taking No Shorts podcast. We listen to some good pimp music tonight. All right, we're gonna let the brother get up out of here with some shout outs. and how they can reach him in his businesses. Mr. Ed Rice, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, you can reach me on Instagram at Ed Rice 2.0. On TikTok it's Protege03. That's PROTIJAY 03. Ed Rice, what it is, what it do, what the business is, and the business today is taking those shorts.
Exactly.
Thank you, brother.
Likewise, bro.
Welcome and come back at any time. I'm a what I don't know what the word is, but I'm a ambiance guy. So I like a group of people. I'm a gypsy. I just like all kinds of. I know another cat that put y'all together, man. Money, because that's what they gonna be talking about. How we can get this money, you dig?
For sure.
Yeah. Taking no shorts, man. Ed Rice. Y'all see it at the bottom of the podcast, at the screen here. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe if you're rocking with anything that we said tonight. I think the main thing I take away from this is, hey guys, especially black men, it can turn out just fine. You just got to stick with it. You got to have somebody that notices you based off of your intellect and your efforts through school to say, hey, I want to intern from you. Mm-hmm. You know, if you intern, then because I had people in my life like that, black people. Mm-hmm. Let's be clear. You know, wasn't no white man that said, hey, nigger. It was a black man or a black woman that said, you got here based off of your works. Correct. And because of that, we're going to plug you in. Correct. Give you a pipeline.
That part you can, I guess, acknowledge with them, you know, because they understand what it was for them to get the position. And when you
got to open another door.
In that position and you able to bring people on, I help a lot of people, a whole lot of people in my life. Exactly. I do it naturally. I don't know why, but I help a lot of people in my life. Sometimes my wife will be like, oh, that was, wow, why did you do that? That was real nice. But the fact of the matter is, you know, when you got each one teach one. When you got the opportunity to pull somebody in, pull them in. I faced a lot of that coming in my businesses where you ask people, yo, how do you get in the business? They just be like, well, you know, you just got to grind hard and keep going. And I'd be like, nah, I asked you, how do you get into the business?
Like, I know how to work, man.
So that's why when Jazz, like somebody like Jazz is like, come here, sit down with me. I'm a school y'all with y'all. I'm gonna hold your hand, and this is what we're gonna do.
So shout out to Jazz Johnson. Shout out to Ron.
Work management.
Rob Robinson. Correct. Shout out to what's his other homeboy, Def Jam. Fence. Yeah. And shout out to the sister at the stock exchange that you was doing a janitor. She said she wants you. What's her name? You don't know.
Abby.
Yeah. Shout out to her, man. And then also shout out to Mrs. Rice, because without you, it would not all be possible. Here, Taking Those Shorts podcast. Make sure you like, share, subscribe anywhere where you find your favorite podcast. Also, every Friday, 8:45 CPT time. Like, share, subscribe. We're out.